Hiya, it's Brendan here from Shanti Warrior Yoga. I teach at Bannatynes in Fairfield, usually when we're not in the physical distancing mode. So I'm here to teach you a bit of yoga this morning. First of all, get these bits out of the way. You do this at your own risk. Okay, so when you're doing this, you're taking your own responsibility for it. I have to say that for insurance purposes. And also, I want to make sure that you have enough space around you, right? So when you're standing at the front of your mat here, okay, front of your mat, get your toes to the front of the mat when you're doing this, right? And then when you put your arms out to the side, just checking the camera there, by the way, that's why I came up. All right, and so you just make sure that you can do this with your arms around you, right? Okay, so if you can do that, then you're good, yeah? And from here as well, also make sure when you have a mat, if you have your mat set up, when you're stepping back, you have enough room to step back, okay? You're not going to kick anything over. And when you reach your arms up, I'm going to step back here, but when you're at the front of your mat, you can reach your arms up like this, but hitting anything on the ceiling, okay? So I just stepped back there because you can't see my arms when I'm here, but you know what I'm saying, right? When you reach the arms up, you're not going to hit some chandeliers or some furniture or something like that, yeah? Okay, what else? This is aimed at all levels, okay? So I'm going to give you different options. First of all, I'll give you the basic option to do, okay? Do that first of all. It's like dipping a toe in a hot bath with practice. You dip a toe with all these movements. You see how it feels. If it feels good, you can go deeper. If it doesn't, you can back off and you haven't been burned, yeah? Okay, so then what I'll say is, if that feels good and you want a bit more of a challenge, then you go to the next bit and then the next bit, and it's really about keeping, first of all, do no harm first, right? That's maybe the first word in yoga, maybe the first word in medicine as well, isn't it? Do no harm first of all, okay? So we're not here to beat ourselves up. If you're thinking that, get that out of your head, right? We're here to learn to treat ourselves better, not to beat ourselves up. It doesn't have to look exactly like what I'm doing, okay? It's not about that either. It's about you working and playing around with the movements and the feelings behind all this. All these little movements that I'm going to give you, you can think of them like tools in a toolbox, okay? When we're going through these movements, we're reading the instruction manual. You're reading your instruction manual to you, right, in the body and in the mind. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to start to learn when to use those little tools, give you little tweaks here and there whenever you need to. I'm just going to check this is still recording because it's flashing in the corner. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so again, I'm going to give you little tools to use, okay, and you're going to then move through the body and use those tools as and when you feel you need to. You can back off at any point if you need to. You can breathe more than I'm saying if you need to. There's no magic number of breaths to be taking, yeah? It's about slowing it down. Rushing is better than, slowing down, going half speed is better than rushing. I should have said, right? So we don't want the rush, just to be clear about that. Half speed is better than rushing, yeah? This is what happens when you're rushing in your mind and you're trying to spit words out because you've only got 30 minutes to do something with people. So I need to take my own advice and let's just slow right down for a moment. So I want you to first of all start standing at the front of your mat. And your big toes are no more than a couple of inches away from the front of the mat. So the big toes are almost touching the front of the mat here, yeah? Okay, and I want your feet to be almost touching, but not quite. Okay, have a little look at my feet, see if you're doing something similar with yours. If you don't know what that means, touch your feet together or get them as close to touching as possible. You may not be able to get the feet to touch right together for various different reasons. That's okay, get them as close as they will go. If they're not quite touching, just get them as close as you can. If they are touching together, get them slightly apart just a tiny bit now. Keep your middle toes pointed straight forwards and parallel. Hips, knees, and middle toes. Now, these are the basics that I'm giving you of the physical foundations, okay? Basics in slang these days can be considered to be a bad word, right? A dirty word, an insult, okay? But, basic is not a dirty word, right? What's the basics of a tree? It's the roots, right? So if you don't have the roots, there is no tree, right? So if you don't have the basics of your practice, you don't have your foundations, you don't have a practice, or not a stable one, not a, one that you can kind of carry on over a period of time. Whereas foundationless, it's no use, right? So get the foundations right. Hips, knees, middle, toes in a nice straight line. Okay, so now we're going to just stand up and just check on the body here. See how that's feeling. It's not a prescriptive thing here. Close your eyes for a moment if you feel comfortable doing that. Start to listen to what the body's asking you for, right? So if the body's talking to you, well, if somebody else you cared about was talking to you and you ignored them, that wouldn't be very caring, right? So hopefully you care about your body. Start to listen to what it's saying. Don't be rude to your body, right? Start to learn how to respond accordingly. Your body will thank you for that. Okay, so just taking a few deep breaths to begin with. Close the eyes. As you inhale, you're really rounding the stomach out. If you're not sure what I mean by this, you can have your hands on your belly. So when you inhale, you feel the stomach expanding. I'm going to move you. Keep standing where you are. Whenever I turn the profile, it's just to show you different things, right? As you exhale, you're putting the belly button back in. Okay, so when you inhale, don't be afraid to appear to have a belly. It's a superficial fear. Get beyond that. Got to stretch those muscles like any other muscle group. And as you exhale, you're putting the belly button back in. Okay, good. Now, of course, I have to say this session is not suitable for people who are pregnant, ladies who are pregnant. Okay. Blokes don't usually get pregnant, right? Okay, because I'm not able to adapt stuff for pregnancy, right? So if you're pregnant, this is not a suitable session for you. If that's something that you would like to do, you can get back to me and feedback on that. And I'll do a specific thing for pregnancy, yeah? But this one's not for pregnancy, okay? Just to keep everybody nice and safe. All right then. So as you inhale, stomach rounds. Exhale. Release what you don't need. So the inhale rounds the stomach out. And the exhale draws the belly button back in towards the spine. Let's gently begin to have a little bow of the head. So you're tucking your chin towards your chest. Feel a nice gentle stretch in the back of the neck, and then you're turning the face gently and gradually towards the sky. Now don't collapse your head back. You're just looking up a little bit towards the sky. Feel a bit of a stretch developing in the front of the neck. Okay, so we're not going to extremes. We can say that we're moving almost towards extremes. Slow the breath down. Now, if you feel you need to do something else in terms of if you feel like you're overthinking this or working too hard, you're probably working too hard, right? So you can stop at any point if you need to and give yourself a shake off. You can shake your hands, your feet, and your legs if you want to. Carry on just with that nod of the head if that feels good to you. Just giving you different options here. And eventually, you're going to bring the chin back to parallel to the floor. Have a little adjustment. Check on your neck. When I say check on your neck, it's a bit of a shorthand to say you can have a little nod or a shake of your head. You can move into your shoulders, right? So your shoulders and your neck are intimately connected, right? If you don't think so, well, leave your head in one room, take the rest of your body to another room. It doesn't work, right? So if you don't think that your feet are connected to your head, think about that. Wherever you go, you have to bring everything with you, right? So the chin comes back to parallel to the floor whenever you're ready. And I want you to just observe this neutral neck position, this nice, not stressing one way or the other neck. I'm going to ask you at various different points in the class to find a neutral neck position. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So you're going to shake the head gently from side to side. You're saying, no, I'm not going to hold on to unnecessary tension in the neck or the shoulders. It's no use to me. And I want you to slightly alter the height of your chin as well as you're doing this. Excuse me. So that you can start to understand how small changes can make a big difference. You don't have to do this at exactly the same time as I'm doing it, or in exactly the same way as I'm doing it. I just want you to start to feel how it feels to move and observe how it feels instead of just, carrying on mindlessly flailing about. Maybe you haven't been doing that, but you know what I'm saying? Mindfulness, mindful movement is the opposite of mindlessly flailing about. Okay. So whenever you're ready, you come back into the center. Nice neutral neck position. Adjust again if you need to. You might want to a big yawn or a sigh or a groan. Let's do that. Just a big sigh, yawn or groan. It's okay to do that. Oh, I can't even see you there anyway. So even if I could, I wouldn't take offense at it, right? So don't worry about it. We're going to give those hands and those fingers a little bit of a shake off. Now let's do that. Like you're trying to shake water off your fingers. So you're shaking water off your fingers here, and your wrists and hands can move like this. Well, at least in two different ways. Can't they? They can move that way as well. So give them a little bit of a shake off here. So do it. Okay, now we're going to try and shake off the right toes. So you try and shake water off your right toes and see how that is. And you might have to bring your foot back down again, but do what you can here, right? And then we're going to shake the water off of your left toes, like you've had a dip in the water, right? Be nice to get back to that again. Want that after all the physical distancing stuff's over, right? Dipping your toe back in the water on the beach or whatever. Okay, it's not going to be forever, this stuff. Don't worry. Okay, we'll get through this together. Staying well together in the meantime at home, right? As best we can. So we're back into the center. Breathing in that way is a diaphragmatic exercise. That expelling of air. It's like sometimes when you get really frustrated, you need to go, and scream, or when you sing and you feel a big release. That is the action of just going, oh, is like a release of pushing air out of the body, releasing stale air. So then when you really pull those muscles in, it's a reflex for a big, after that, yeah. And that's where you feel good from it. The big inhale after that exhale. So it's more productive for us to go together and release a sigh instead of going at somebody else, right? Okay, let's try and conduct our energies a bit more constructively. Okay, so we're going to then work on the shoulders. We're going to roll both shoulders back, and it's a nice shrug of the shoulders. And you're shrugging off whatever it is, the morning, whenever you're doing this, the day you've had, or maybe it was like a disrupted sleep. Maybe you had a really good day. Maybe you had a really good sleep, right? But it's whatever it is, we're getting movement now, and we're leaving behind whatever is done is done. We're here now. You can have a big yawn if you want. Oh, gee. It's okay to do that, right? But you started yawning after I yawned, right? Even if you weren't yawning before, right? So you're going to roll both shoulders forwards. Yawning and sighing and groaning, it's good, right? They're signs that you're starting to switch modes from the fight, flight, or freeze mode when you're in that go, go, go mode. Must do this, must get to that person, must work on that. Okay, to the rest and digest mode, where you're actually starting to use the stuff inside that you already have, right? Digesting and metabolizing. We're going to roll the shoulders back, by the way, if you haven't started doing that already. We're getting away from that fight, flight, or freeze mode where you're on adrenaline all the time. You only have a certain amount of time that you can do that for, kind of with the adrenal glands producing that adrenaline before you get adrenal burnout, and that's maybe you just go and you're flat out for a few days or whatever it is, right? So that's no use, is it? We're starting to build our immunity by letting ourselves have a rest, right? Okay, so we're rolling the shoulders forwards. If you haven't done that, start going a little bit faster. Doesn't matter the speed that you're doing this. There's not a correct speed. It's the speed that feels nice to you, right? And then we're going to roll one shoulder back at a time. And so you're bicycling these shoulders backwards as you do it. And as you do that, if you feel it like you can, get into it a bit more. So you start to move your ribs from side to side. And it might look weird, right? But who cares? You can imagine you're dancing to your favorite slow jam, if you like, right? Okay, but who cares what it looks like? Nobody's looking at you anyway, right? And if they are, well, so who cares, right? We might look like a weirdo. We might look like weirdos, right? But we're all weirdos together. That's the thing. Life's too short to try and act normal, isn't it? Life is too short to try to act normal, I reckon. But happiness might be finding you're a bunch of weirdos, right? People that you're happy to be weird with, all right? As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, we're good. So we're going to roll bicycle one shoulder forwards at a time, and then start to move the ribs again. And you might feel like that nice loosening in to the upper back, the mid back, the lower back as you do this. That's good. Okay, so then we're going to roll one shoulder back at a time again and start to get into it, be a bit more fluid, a bit more free, a bit more loosey-goosey, right? Then the hands are going to start to feel lighter and lighter, and they want to float up a little bit. So you let the hands begin to float one at a time until eventually you end up floating one arm and one hand over the head at a time. I'm going to step back. I want you to just stay where you are. I'm going to step back so you can see what I'm doing with my arms here, right? Okay, so I'm just floating one arm and one hand over the head. And it's this Tai Chi dance move that we're doing really essentially. Now, of course, there's some effort here because you're lifting your arm and your hand over your head, right? But try and make it no more force than is necessary. I want you to try alternating the direction that you're turning your palms here. So I'm going to come closer to the camera to show you what I'm talking about. Stay where you are. I'm just going to come closer to show you what I'm talking about here with the direction that we're pointing those palms. So sometimes the palms turn in towards the head. And then I want you to alternate so that the palms are turning away from the head. And it's going to give you a different kind of rotation through the shoulder. Now you can take a rest. You can have a drink or a break at any point if you need to. Just going to check we're still recording. Yes, good stuff. Okay. So no more force than is necessary. Make this less effortful. Make it, I don't know, do you want to go a bit faster? A little bit faster, a little bit slower. Check on how you're feeling here, right? Okay, then we're going to bring the arms in the opposite direction. So the arms are going to come behind you and then over the top. And the palms are turning in towards the head for the first few times you do it. It's like a front crawl in the swimming pool, isn't it? And you might have clicks and cracks and scrunchy bits, and I do too. That's okay, as long as it's not forced or painful. You're good, right? You're kind of releasing gas between the joints most of the time, right? And so if you've had loads of injuries like I have from, various sporting things, this is going to happen, right? But what are you going to do? Never move so nobody hears you clicking and cracking? That's not going to work for you, is it? I might as well just give up if that's the feeling. Okay, so we're going to then try altering the way you're pointing your palms. And it's like this, it's almost like you're presenting something lovely on a game show, isn't it, right? Here's what you could have won, right? Here's the session you could have did if you were here with me yesterday, right? But it's not that. It's about rotating laterally through the shoulders here as you do that, yeah? Getting a nice lateral rotation through the shoulders. I'm going to step back, carry on doing that. I'm going to step back. Of course, you can take a rest if you need to at any point. Okay, we're going to then let those arms hang down by the sides of the body. Give the hands and the arms a little shake off. You can give the legs, let's do that. Let's give the legs a little shake off as well. If you want to grab a drink or take a break at this point, go ahead and do it. Just going to see how we are for time. That's great. Okay, so from here then, we're back at the front of the mat. If you came off that position, hips, knees, middle toes parallel. Not this, okay? Not this. We're not in a catwalk now, all right? Okay, we're not doing ballet now. Nothing wrong with ballet, but we're not doing it right now. Okay? All right then. So, from here, on your next inhale, you sweep the arms out. Now, if I'm going to step back, you stay where you are, just so that you can see my hands and arms, right? So you lift the arms up, you bring those hands together, and on your next exhale, you're going to slowly bring the hands through the midline to Namaste prayer position. So it's 2 more times in your own time with your own breath. Now, as I say, you can take your own time with this. If you have clicks and cracks and scrunchy bits, that's okay, as I say, as long as it's not forced or painful. If it is, you should go to the doctor and get checked out, right? Or, speak to the doctor about it. Doing new exercise before you start a new exercise regime. It's not so easy now at the moment if we're in this physical distancing period whenever you're watching this, but you know what I'm saying, right? If your doctor says don't be doing something, don't be doing something, right? So on your next inhale, sweep the arms up, lift and lengthen. We're going to bring those hands together. Try and touch your ears with your arms if you can. Stay here for a few more breaths. Interlace the fingers here. Okay, and on your next exhale, you're going to press the palms up towards the sky. Don't forget to breathe. Drop your shoulders down and away from your ears as you straighten the arms. Now I want you to soften your neck and your face and your jaw. You can take a little nod, a little shake of the head if you need to. Straighten those arms a bit more without scrunching the shoulders up. Rotate the palms towards the back of the room, and on your next exhale, we're going to point those palms towards the back of the room with the outsides of your little fingers touching if you can. On your next inhale, bring the arms down if you need to, but stay with it if you can. Straighten those arms up. Try and touch your ears with your arms, keeping the chin parallel to the floor. And on your next exhale, keep those palms pointed in the same direction as you bring the hands through the midline. The palms are in front of the face. Turn the palms inwards. Thumbs plug into the heart, dropping the shoulders down and away. Relax the back of the neck. Take a little nod, little shake of the head. A little movement through the shoulders if you need it. I'm going to turn to the side here and show you what I'm talking about with this next bit. Okay, you stay facing forward. I'm just showing you the profile here. Okay, so I want you to do a little crumple here. Have a little look. You soften the knees, just soften the knees gently, and then round into your upper back. See how that is. It's almost like an accordion that's being squashed down a little bit. That's the feeling. Let your head hang. Feel how you feel in your shoulders. It's okay. I won't tell anybody that we slumped in a yoga class if you don't. It's not that one way is right of standing and one way is wrong. It's about observing the different things you get from these positions. On your next exhale, I want you to press down through the soles of the feet, the full length of your big toes, little toes and ankles and heels, and lifting through the legs. Then straighten the legs up and now lengthen through the spine to the crown of the head. How's that feel? Close the eyes for a moment. Okay, register how that feels in comparison to when you had that little slump going on. Stronger, more uplifted position, right? Sometimes you gotta feel kind of what you don't want or you want less of in order to figure out what it is you want a little bit more of, yeah? Okay. So on the next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms out and that lift and lengthen up past the ends of those fingers. We're going to pause here. I'm going to step back. You stay where you are. Just going to show you the profile here. Okay, we're trying to touch your ears with your arms here as you do this. The hands are flat together if they can be. Trying to touch your ears with your arms. Stay here if you have any back problems, abdominal problems, hypermobility. Again, this session is not suitable for pregnancy. So if you're pregnant, no matter what stage you're at, I don't want you to be doing this now. I'll do a specific pregnancy session if you need it, okay? So we're going to then, if you feel good here, stay with it. You can bring your hands down and take a rest if you need to. But if you have any back problems, abdominal problems, or hypermobility, this is as far as you go with this bit, okay? If none of those things apply, you want a bit more of a challenge, you can squeeze your glutes. If that feels good, keep on squeezing your bum. Push your hips forward gradually. Keep your ears alongside your arms. Don't drop your head back. Your arms stay alongside your ears. Don't forget to breathe. Okay, imagine you're holding a tennis ball between your chin and your chest. Don't let that tennis ball fall. Now as you exhale, it's eyes forward. I'm going to turn back to face you. Keep on facing the way you're facing. Keep on looking forward. Bend your legs more than you would usually do. Okay, I'm going to change position again. Bend your legs more than you would usually do for a forward fold to get your stomach onto your thighs. Bend those legs. Get stomach on the thighs. Then you bring the hands down to the floor on the outsides of those feet. Now if you can't get those hands down onto the floor, that's okay. You can hold on to the backs of the heels or the calf muscles. Have a little nod, a little shake of the head. Okay, stay where you are. Keep on hanging out there for a few moments. If you need to slowly reverse yourself out of that position, you can do. But I want you to stay here for a few breaths. Have a little gentle nod, a little shake of the head, a little shimmy of the shoulders as you do this. Okay. I find The first time you do this, you're having to kind of look at the screen and so on. All right, go back and do it again when you don't have to look at the screen, and I bet you get a lot more from it when you're a bit more familiar with this. Okay, if your knees tend to knock together here, I want you to draw your knees a little bit apart. Okay, so it's not that. If your knees tend to fall away to the side, I want you to try and draw your knees in a bit. Trying to find that happy medium where the knees lined up with the middle toe. Okay, can you hold on to your elbows or your forearms and take a little sway from side to side? Okay, don't forget about it. Now we're just really warmed up, haven't we? This is coming near the end of the session, so it's only a half-hour quick little session. All right, we can do a lot more after this. Okay, after you've done this, but this is great as a warm-up for whatever you want to be doing. All those little things we've done through the spine. Okay, and then from here, on your next inhale, I want you to bend those knees, push the bum down, sweep the arms forwards and up gradually. Take your time, keep your stomach towards your thighs, lifting your chest here as you do this. I'm going to turn to the side, stay where you are, just so you know what I'm talking about. You can stand up slowly if you need to at any point, but stay with this if you can. On your next exhale, if you want a bit more, get your stomach closer to your thighs, keep your chest lifted, trying to get those thighs parallel to the floor eventually. Nice big deep breath in. As you exhale, watch for a second and then join if you're not sure. Throw away the tension. Right, I'm going to step back to show you what I'm talking about. And you carry on doing this at your own speed. It's not about the speed that I'm doing this at. You're not trying to necessarily match that. Okay? Have a little look at what I'm doing if you're not sure. But try and be free and fluid here. Right? Try and get some jazz hands going on, right? So those fingers are floppy. Okay. I'm going to turn to the side just to show you what I'm talking about. So when I'm changing the angles here, you're still carrying on in the same way. It's not this. Oh my God, am I doing this right? Be freer. Be softer in the knees. Right? Be softer in your shoulders. Try and get a bit of momentum into this. Okay, so I want you to try and touch the backs of your shoulders with your fingertips now. Take a rest if you need it. Try and track those knees with the middle toes. So in other words, you're not letting your knees fall away to the side. We're not doing this. Not doing this. Not the locomotion. Right? Okay. And then from here, on your next inhale, sweep the arms up. Lift and lengthen. Okay, we're going to bring those feet together, those hands together as best you can, touching the feet. And on your next inhale, lift up. If you can't get those feet to touch, just as close as you can get to doing that. Lift up, try and touch your ears with your arms, straighten those hands, those fingers. Exhale, bring the hands down through the heart center. Thumbs in the heart, shoulders dropping down and away. Relax the back of the neck. Take a little nod, a little shake of the head. I'm going to come back to the front of the mat. You stay where you are. Let's see how we are for time. Okay, guys, as I say, that was just a warm-up, really. Okay, the first half of the session in a usual hour-long session or a 90-minute class. Now we just be getting into it, right? But this means you can go and do more active stuff now if you've just done this. Basics, right? Doing the basics, nothing shameful in that, nothing to be embarrassed about with it, right? Without the basics of a tree, you don't have any roots, no tree. So you got to do all this stuff before you can start doing more spectacular stuff, really, in my opinion. Right? I wouldn't do all the other stuff before you do this stuff. So think about that, right? The fact that it's like brushing your teeth, right? Just because you brushed your teeth yesterday doesn't mean you don't have to do it today. Hopefully, you know that, right? Okay, so just because you've done your warm-up yesterday before you did a yoga session doesn't mean you can just throw yourself into headstand now, right? I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to be doing this for a longer time, if you want to maintain quality of life over a longer period as opposed to just getting into one position and having a nice picture for Instagram and, you know, aching for a week afterwards, or, you know, injuring yourself, do the basics first, yeah? Taking a few breaths, thumbs in the heart. Think about your intention behind your practice. What you want to achieve through your yoga. Let your intention, whether it's in your yoga practice or whatever else you're doing in your life, be the thing that carries you through when you face your challenges. Yeah, the why behind whatever you're doing. The yoga philosophy, right? This mindset kind of thing is as important as all that physical stuff. Maybe even more important. So keeping the eyes closed if you can. I'm going to step back so you can see what I'm doing with my hands and arms here. Keep the eyes closed though if you feel comfortable. You think you know what I'm talking about here. As you inhale, you're going to sweep the arms out and up, lift and lengthen up past the ends of the fingertips. You're gathering in the chi, the ki, and the prana, the strength and the focus that we've gained together. Let's take that with us so that on your next exhale, slowly you bring the hands through the midline, pausing with the thumbs floating in front of the forehead for kind thoughts. Float the thumbs in front of the lips then for kind words. Finally rest the thumbs on the heart center for kind actions. Kind thoughts, kind words, kind actions. Apply those things to yourself as well as to others. Just give yourself a little bow of acknowledgement. Thank you very much for joining me in this practice. Namaste. Well done. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions or comments, feel free to get in touch with me. It's Brendan here from Shanti Warrior Yoga. I teach yoga at Bannatynes in Fairfield, usually when we're not in social distancing mode. Hopefully I will see you again at some point soon. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.